Hi everyone. As part of this problem, we have the input table travels. This table has below columns traveler ID, that is the ID of the traveler name, that is the name of the traveler, city, that is the city to which the traveler is traveling to, visit date, that is the date on which the traveler has visited this city. So each entry gives information about the travel details of the user. Now, as part of the output, we need to identify for every user in a particular year which are the new cities that they have visited. That means the cities that they have visited for the very first time. So for example, if we take the example of a user say Vikram, so Vikram has visited in the year 2021 the city of Delhi, and this is the only city that he has visited. So for Vikram, we will report in the year 2021 he has visited one city, and that is Delhi. Similarly, if we see in the year 2022 he has visited four cities. So we will be reporting that Vikram has visited four cities, and also we have to specify the cities he has visited in the order of the visit date. So Pune comes first, then Mumbai, then Hyderabad, and then Nashik. Let's take example of another user, that is Aditi. So Aditi has visited Bangalore location in the year 2020. So if we see for Aditi, there is one entry for 2020 and the total new visits are one. That is, in 2020, Aditi has visited only one city, and that is Bangalore. Coming to the next year, that is 2021, Aditi has visited Lucknow twice. But since it is like we have to consider only the first visit, we will be displaying that total new visits are one, and that is Lucknow. So if the user visits the same city again, we should not be considering it. Another example could be for Madhvi. So Madhvi has visited Mumbai in the year 2020. So in that year 2020, we will be considering Mumbai. But although she has visited Mumbai in 2021 as well, we will not be considering the visit to Mumbai in the next year, because we have to only consider very new visits. Okay. Only when the traveler visits a city for the very first time, we need to pick only those counts and display the cities in the order of visit. So hope the problem statement is clear of what we need to do here. So let's get started and solve this problem. So we will be working on this input table, that is travels. So if we have to identify which is the first visit date for a particular city, we will use the mean function. So let's get started from there. We will take the data from this travels table and we will get the traveler ID, traveler name, city, and the visit date. So if we take the minimum of the visit date, that will be the first visit date for that particular city. So let's group by these details. So let's run and see the output. So if we see here, we have identified for a particular city when was the traveler visiting it for the very first time. For example, traveler Madhvi visited Mumbai on 5th of January. Although she has another visit to Mumbai, but we will be considering only the very first visit. So for Madhvi, the visit to Mumbai happened on 5th of January 2020. Likewise, for every user, we have identified that for a particular city, when was the first time that they visited there. So once we have these details, we know that these are the first time visits, and here we can focus on the year part. So if we want to extract the year part from this date, we can simply use the year function. So we will use the year function and pass this, and let's call it as the first visit year. Let's run and see the output. So as we can see, we have extracted the year part from this first visit date. So going forward, if we can identify the total count of this year, we can identify the number of new visits that user has done. So for every user, say for example for Madhvi, we need to count in the year how many entries are there for 2021. So if it is 2, that means Madhvi has visited 2 new cities in the year 2021. So this is what we are going to do next. We are going to count for every user what is the count of particular year that is present to get the number of new city visits. So what we will do is whatever we have just now generated, let's move it as part of a CTE. We can also use it as part of a subquery, but let's move it as part of a CTE. Let's call it as travel DT. So now, as we discussed, we are going to work on this data that we just got, and we are going to work on this traveler ID, traveler name, and take the year part. And we are going to count the number of entries that are present. So that will give us the total new visits. And we have to group by this so that we can consolidate it together. So let's mention the group by here on all these columns. Let's order it based on the traveler ID to see the details along with the year as well. So let's run and see the output. So now if we see for every traveler, we have identified the number of new cities that they have visited. The only part that is now pending is we need to get the name of the cities that they visited in the order of visit date. So for example, if Madhvi visited 2 new cities, which are those 2 new cities? So that information we need to get. So that we can get using the string aggregate function. So we know that we already have the city details. Like when we executed the previous query, that is this part, the CTE data, we know that these are the details of first time visit. So we simply, when we are doing the aggregation, we simply need to use the string add to consolidate these rows into a single record. So how we can do it? We can mention the string add function. In that, we will specify the first parameter as city because that is what we want to consolidate. We will specify the delimiter as comma. So after doing this, we will be able to see the cities separated by commas. But the other thing is we need to get the cities in the order of visit. So for that, we will use the within group clause. And in this, we will specify that order the data based on the visit date. So that is the first visit date. So this will be the cities or visited cities column. So let's run and see the output. So now if we see, we have got the required details the way we wanted, and we have solved the problem. For every user, for a particular year, we have identified how many number of new cities that they have visited and what are the cities name in the order of the visit. So this way we have solved the problem. So let's do a quick summary of how we reached to the solution. So basically we started with initial part wherein we picked out that for each of the traveler for a particular city, what is the very first visit date, which we identified using the minimum function. So with that, we got the very first visit date for a traveler for a particular city. After that, we extracted the year part from this minimum visit date or the first visit date because we are interested in the year history. We want to work at the level of year. So that's why we have extracted the year part. Once we have identified which are the entries wherein the user has visited for a city for the very first time, we are working on this and we are aggregating the data based on the traveler and the year. We are going to count the number of entries and that will give us the total new visits to these cities. Like these are the newly visited cities in that particular year by the traveler. We also need to get the city names. So for that we use the string act function. We specified the city that is to be separated by comma because this is the separated delimiter. So that is specified here. We have specified that order this data of this consolidated cities as per the visit date. So that we have mentioned within the within group clause. And this way we have solved the problem. So please go through the video. If you found it useful,
comment,
please like
and
it. If you
subscribe.
have not yet subscribed the channel, please subscribe and please provide your feedback in the comments. Thank you.